Welcome to the Prescott Sunrise Lions Show presented by the Prescott Media Center at the Prescott Armory. I am David A. Snyder, CPA, MBA, and EA with David A. Snyder, CPA. I'm a member of the Prescott Sunrise Lions Club. Please go to prescottsунriselionclub.org to see the projects we participate in and come to our meeting every Thursday at 7 a.m. at Waffles and More. We are coming up on tax credit season, so we're going to talk to our guest, Lion Chuck Schwartz. We'll be talking about those tax credits. One of the main money-making ventures in the Prescott Sunrise Lions is our Prescott Sunrise Lions calendar. We plan on getting these out in late October so we can take advantage of the tax credits that can help save you money on your taxes, honor our commitment to our sponsors so that they can benefit from the calendar also. Please consider buying a wonderful calendar, thereby contributing to the local community. Lions International is now working on a new global initiative, the worldwide diabetes epidemic. The Lions Club in the Tri-Cities area are looking for ways to distribute the pilot program related to this initiative. In fact, I've talked to our district governor recently, including today, and we talked about how to distribute the funds that we were to each club in our district. Actually, we have three clubs really participating in it, but the whole Prescott area is participating in it too. And we are planning on creating diabetes support groups to help people in the region dealing with diabetes. So that's what we're going to use for our funds for the diabetes pilot program. Our guest today is Chuck Schwartz, investment advisor with Ameriprise. Chuck, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, there's not much to say, Dave. I'm a financial advisor, have been in the area for over 20 years. I am proudly serving on the board of directors of the Sunrise Lions Club. I've been a member for, I don't really know how long, but 10 years plus going now. Most of my free time I devote to helping the Lions or other nonprofit agencies. So, that's a little bit about me.
All right, thank you. Tell us about the organizational tax credit, which we're emphasizing on this television show now.
Well, as you know, there are several different tax credits, tax credit programs that the state of Arizona has. The one that our club uses is titled the Qualified Charitable Organization. In the past, it had been called the Working Poor, but Qualified Charitable Organization is a little bit more encompassing and gives a better definition of what we're looking for. Typically, those types of charities are the ones that provide support services, training, etc., to people who may be a little bit down on their luck or need a little bit of help. And so you think about agencies such as the Yavapai Food Bank. You think about things like the Advocacy Center or the Prescott Area Shelter Services. There are many qualified charitable organizations in the state and in our county and just in our Quad City area that could qualify for this. And our Lions Club Foundation supports many of them through the tax credit program.
And tell us a little bit more about all the programs that we follow up on. We contribite to.
Okay, if you mean all of the tax credit programs, I'm sort of interpolating that you mean not just the qualified charitable, but also.
No, I'm talking about all these on the
Don't
sheet.
point, Dave. It's not polite.
I'm not pointing at you.
We kid each other all the time, guys. Our foundation supports 18 different charitable organizations, predominantly in the Prescott and Prescott Valley area. They range from Agape House, Canine Companions, Leader Dogs for the Blind, all the way to, as I said, Yavapai Food Bank, the Yavapai CASA for kids, YEI for disabled adults, and our newest one this year is the YMCA scholarship program for kids that can't afford the programs that they have here. So last year was the first year that the state had implemented a rule that instead of the end of the tax credit season being December 31st, it was extended to the federal tax filing deadline, which typically is April 15th. And so we actually had a little bit more time in our tax credit raising season. And hopefully this coming year season, which is going to kick off very shortly, will do well. But to give you an idea, because I know as an accountant you're a numbers guy.
Absolutely.
Last year we raised just under $115,000 to support these local agencies. The largest single set of contributions went into our internal foundation's program that we called Greatest Need. And that program is simply a flexible type of account that allows the board of directors of the foundation to single out individual charities that may have special situations come up, or maybe make a big seed type of donations in case, like in the case of YEI a couple of years ago, they were starting construction of their facility in Prescott Valley. And so it gives us a lot of flexibility to focus down on areas of need in the Quad City area and have the flexibility to change that year to year depending on how we get information about what needs are, what the best priorities are that we can use.
And to extend on that, a couple years ago we used some of that Greatest Need money, right, to buy scanners for kids' eyes that the Yavapai school nurses can go all around Yavapai County and scan the kids' eyes.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Dave. For many years, our Lions Club has had a project of supporting school nurses so that they're required to go to every school in the county every year and examine every student to make sure that they've got reasonable eyesight, or if not, to get them flagged to go to a qualified optometrist or ophthalmologist to get treatment. And for many years, they were using what could politely be called a somewhat less than state-of-the-art piece of equipment, scanners that were designed, I think, maybe in the 1950s or 1960s, which our club had purchased for them, perhaps back when our club was founded in '61. We made a decision at the level of the board, based on recommendations from our club secretary, Dr. John Bundy, who is a local ophthalmologist, to purchase 2 new scanners, state of the art, that we gave to the nurses. These enable them to go to every school, and it will very quickly do a diagnosis on whether the student that they're examining has correct eyesight, whether they may have some sort of minor problem or a major problem, and it allows them then to let the student's parents know, and to refer them to one of the volunteer eye physicians that we have throughout the county to get them the help that they need. So it's a great program, and our club was very, very proud to be able to provide those.
I certainly was. I really was happy that happened. I want to talk about the other 4 tax credits briefly so that people understand, because only 5 to 10% of eligible people in Arizona take advantage of tax credits. So I want to make sure that you understand that you can use them all and that they really help you. We have 4 other tax credits. the Arizona Military Family Relief Fund, which is $400 married filing jointly and $200 other statuses. And that needs to be done not by April 15th or by December 31st. It's really supposed to be done by December 31st, but it needs to be done now because it has a cap of $1 million, which is a shame to me, but a cap of $1 million all across Arizona, and it generally gets done by early November. So if you want to contribute to the Arizona Military Family Relief Fund, Google that and do that as soon as possible, because last year, for example, I got mine sent back to me because it was in November and I didn't get credit for it. Foster care tax credit's the second other tax credit, which is $1,000 and $500 for other statuses. $1,000 for married filing jointly, $500 for other statuses, and that goes to something like Yavapai, CASA for Kids, which we also have on our schedule, and that really helps foster care kids. I mean, it's in the title. The public school tax credit, that's $400 in married filing jointly and $200 other statuses, and that one's also through April 15th. And now, if you're through April 15th, remember now that you cannot take it, if you take it after December 31st of this year, then you can't really, it doesn't affect you on the federal return. If it's done before 12/31, then it helps you on the federal return. So
Dave, let me jump in on that, because that's a very, very important point. There are two different tax systems going on here. I'm not a tax guy, he is, so call him.
Yes.
You have federal income taxes, and any charitable donation you make that you want to have taken off as a potential deduction on your federal taxes has to be made before December, or by the end of December 31st of this year. For Arizona income taxes, which is what the tax credit programs apply to, a dollar for dollar offset of your state income taxes, that deadline is April 15th. And so you have two different deadlines to worry about, and so that's why it's so important for people to decide, consulting with their tax advisor, as to whether they are more worried about the tax credits and they want to push it off to April 15th, or if they want to get the federal deduction, and that means it has to be done by December 31st.
Thank you for that. That's great. And then the fourth tax credit was the school tuition tax credit. Now that's for private schools like Primavera or Sacred Heart or something else that you might be enjoying. But it has to be in Arizona, remember. So it could be all the way down to Tucson, all the way down to the border. School tuition tax credit is $2,182 married filing jointly, and $1,091 for other statuses. So I want to go on to the next question, in which are, you kind of alluded to this, what were the results of the last year's tax credit program for our Lions Club?
Okay. Yeah, as I mentioned, the total amount that we brought in through the tax credit program was just under $115,000, which was a significant increase from the year before. Based on preliminary sampling of donations that were made, we think that a lot of that was due to the fact that the state had extended the filing time to April 15th. And so we're going to build on that for this coming year and hopefully do even better. Now,
so we were up about $50,000 from last year.
Yeah, exactly right. So fairly impressive increase.
That's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, and the wonderful people in the Quad City community should be very proud of themselves for helping with this. And that, just speaking as an individual, that applies not just for our tax credit program, but for all the people, all the organizations that are participating in the tax credit program. And you have a lot of very worthy organizations that are not on our sheet that take advantage of this. We jokingly say it's a little bit of our competition, but it just shows how generous the people in the Quad City are. And so again, kudos to everybody for that.
And the economy was getting better. That's probably another reason. And then and an extension, and as well as the increase in the amount that you could give to charitable organizations.
Exactly. And that's a point that we really haven't emphasized. And so I'll take a point to do that now. One of the other changes that was put in last year is an increase in the amount that individuals or married couples can make for the qualified charitable tax credit. It used to be that single people could do $200, married couples could do $400. That has now been doubled. And so single people can donate up to $400, married couples up to $800. And again, a dollar for dollar offset on your Arizona income taxes.
So that to me means that, in reality, not just to me, means that if you owed $4,782 this year and you paid in $4,782 in tax credits, then you would owe nothing. And if you had withholdings, you would get those back. Now, if you owed $3,000 and you paid in $4,782, then you carry forward that excess of $1,782 up to 5 years in the future. You wouldn't get that back, but you still get your withholdings back, but you would not owe anything, and also you would be able to carry forward a big chunk of that money that you contributed this year to the Arizona tax credits up to the next 5 years. So that's a great thing. And would you rather pay the tax to the government to use the way they want to use it, the Arizona state government to use it the way they want to use it, or would you rather control where those funds go so that you can monitor those organizations, and also you can say, oh, I'm going to go somewhere else if you don't like what they're doing?
Is that like a trick question?
It's a no-brainer question to me.
It's a no-brainer question. and let me just emphasize, because you told us the total number of tax credit dollars that you could take, and that represents contributing to the max for all 5 tax credit programs.
Yes.
Some people cannot do that. Some people may not be interested in 1 or 2 or even 3 of the tax credit programs. But a question that I get all the time, and I know that you get all the time, is I gave $200 to public school, and so now I can't give to qualified charities, and that's absolutely wrong. You can give to each one of those. And if you want to, if you're able, if you're willing, then you should.
Absolutely, and if you're capable. In fact, I bring clients in April 13th, April 14th, April 15th, and I say to them, "Hey, you're going to owe $1,500 here. Why don't you contribute to our Lions Club? Up to the max, and then you can contribute to one of these other 4." The other $700, or if you want to contribute to the school program, you can contribute $400 and then $300 to another one. So I leave that open. I brought in the foster care person from Yavapai Casa for Kids several times during the last few days of the operating season for that, and I had her come in and get $1,000 checks or $27 checks or $50 checks, whatever the people owed, and clear off their debt. And then I would take the ones that were from the Lions Club and send them to our treasurer. Take them directly to our treasurer, so they got
in.
Not
me. I'm not the treasurer.
He's
Scott
not the treasurer.
Heffelstein is the treasurer.
Yeah, so I would take them to our treasurer, and then he would put them in just before that period ended too. So,
exactly.
So they were properly legitimate tax credits for that year, for the prior year.
Excellent.
In that case. So we already talked about what made the program so successful. What do we use the funds for?
Well, as I indicated, we've got 18 different charities, qualifying charities that we support at the Prescott Sunrise Lions Foundation. Now, before I give you some examples of these, let me just make a point of interest. Our club is totally volunteer. We don't have any employees. We don't receive a dime. And so any expenses associated with that are simply we need to pay a little bit to make our brochures, to do inserts in the newspaper, and things like that. But it's a very, very low type of expense. Everything else, every dollar is designated to these programs. And more importantly, if somebody puts in, here's $100, I want it to go to Prescott Area Shelter Services, $100 is going to go to Prescott Area Shelter Services. Any specific designation, we send exactly that amount to the organization. So we have no holdback from designations, that specific designations that our community members tell us about. Now, to give you some of the examples, last year our Greatest Need program raised a little bit over $36,000. The second most was raised by a longtime program that we've supported, which is the Del Webb Family Enrichment Center that's located right on the campus of Yavapai College. This is a program that provides scholarships for needy participants that are students going to Yavapai College that really couldn't afford to go because they've got to worry about child care support. And so they can drop their young kids. These are pre-K children. They're well cared for. They got a start on their education, and they actually do training for some of the Yavapai College students who are in that program. And so it really turns out to be a win-win-win situation, and we're very, very happy to support them. They got a little bit over $32,000 raised last year. Think about it this way. You've got somebody who's very interested in getting a certificate or an education to better themselves and their family. They can't do it because they can't afford it. This allows them to attend school and better their family and therefore better our community.
That's an excellent point. We do like to contribute to these organizations, and it's really helpful for the community. And again, to elaborate on what Chuck was mentioning, we don't use this for admin stuff. Nobody gets paid. It's not related to, it's always program expenses. There's no division into management and fundraising.
Because we barely have any management to begin with.
That's absolutely true.
So here's a couple of other programs. Last year, one of our new programs was the Hungry Kids Project. And that is a program that provides lunches for school kids over the weekends. And it's something that I was never aware of as I was growing up, but it's become an epidemic, not just in our area, but around the country, that kids, sometimes their families are not well enough off that they can provide 3 meals a day, and sometimes it's so bad that they rely specifically on the lunch that they get at school for their only meal, or maybe one of 2 meals they get in a day. The Hungry Kids Project provides a meal over the weekend for those kids so they don't go hungry. It makes them more aware, it keeps them more active, it keeps them attentive in school. And so we were very, very proud to help them with that.
Yeah, I'm absolutely happy about that.
We have two agencies that we support that have to do with support dogs. One is a long-time support, and that's Leader Dogs for the Blind. And people throughout the community, they have seen blind or vision impaired people with dogs that help them to navigate the grocery stores, walk, etc. And we're very, very happy and proud to have supported them for so many years. But we have a newer program that's it was in its second year last year, called Canine Companions for Independence. And it's the same sort of program. There are people with disabilities. Perhaps it's they can't hear too well. They can't. I'm not going to have the statement on this, and I know Lion Carl is going to jump behind the camera and hit me. But there are several reasons that you might need that. If you're going to have a health problem, dogs can sense that and they can help them with that. And so it's a tangent program to Leader Dogs for the Blind, but totally different. And again, this will be coming into our third year for that, and we're very, very proud to help with that. And then I'm going to say that new this year, as I mentioned before, we're helping the YMCA provide scholarships to kids that can't afford to pay for their swimming lessons or their athletic lessons or things like that. And again, YMCA is just an essential program in this community. It helps build character for not only young kids but also for adults. Just as an aside, because you mentioned one of the programs that the International Lions is funding is diabetes awareness and treatment. YMCA is also doing a program that's sort of similar to that. These are not related. It just is a coincidence, but it's just one of the reasons that we were so happy to jump in and help the YMCA, and we hope that their fundraising will be successful. Now, I know we're running out of time, so can I tell you just a little bit very quickly about how we're going to run our program this year? Because we're coming up to it. I'm going to tell you, it doesn't matter.
Go ahead.
Tax credit season. This tax credit season will start for us in late November, early December, when we send out our first set of inserts. We'll have radio spots and things like that. In early January, we're going to be giving forms like this to as many of the local CPAs in the Quad City area as we can. We'll have another insert program going in March, and that way we hope we can really build on the extended time for that, so we can really try our best to get more in.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Okay, so to conclude, we are the Prescott Sunrise Lions Club and would like to invite you to our club meeting, which is held at Waffles and More every Thursday at 7 a.m. You will find that our club is friendly and fun, but also engaged in the community in Prescott Valley and Chino. We joke and laugh and fully understand our purpose in the community we serve. If you want to be part of such a group, then become a member of the club. I also want to remind you of the diabetes walk on October 14th this year. It's down at the courthouse, and I want to thank the Prescott Media Center, Jim, Linda, Rob, and Matt from Basis School with this program for helping us with this program today. Also want to help Lions Ken and Carl from the Prescott Sunrise Lions Club for doing the camera work and directing of the program today. And thank you again, Chuck Schwartz from Ameriprise, and also from the Prescott Sunrise Lions Club for this wonderful and helpful program. Thank you for leading this program. It's wonderful, and it really helps the community.
Thank you, Dave.